Hey guys, Red Eye Dingbat here, and we are back with some more SCP readings. Okay, today we are going to start off with SCP-22 the Morgue. Item SCP-22. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. A vault door has been installed following Incident 22-827 to seal SCP-22. It is to remain locked at all times, with the sole exception being the appearance of an instance of SCP-22-1. The original door to SCP-22 was destroyed during Incident 22-827, with attempts at replacement being met with failure. Security cameras have been installed to monitor for instances of SCP-22-1. In the event that an instance of SCP-22-1 appears, automated systems should incinerate it the moment it leaves SCP-22. At this point, the vault door may be unlocked to admit cleanup crews. Should the automated systems fail to destroy the instance of SCP-22-1, response teams are cleared to enter and neutralize it. Under no circumstances may any living human enter SCP-22 except at the order of Class 4 personnel for testing purposes. Class 4 personnel may also order instances of SCP-22-1 to be captured and held. However, they may not be removed from SCP-22 containment facilities. Description: SCP-22 is a morgue in the basement of Redacted Hospital in Great Britain. Until 1980 blank, there were no reported anomalies Until 1980 blank, there were no reported anomalous occurrences within the morgue. Reports of strange activity were first received in November of 1980 blank. The area was soon quarantined by the Foundation, with an official story being released that the entire building had been condemned. The reason for the sudden manifestation of its strange properties remains under investigation. Periodically, a random drawer within the morgue will open to reveal a cadaver under a covered sheet. After approximately 6 minutes open, the cadaver will animate and attempt to leave the morgue. At this point, the cadaver is given the designation of SCP-22-1. In some cases, the cadaver will be too damaged or decomposed to successfully exit SCP-22, or even rise from the table it lies on. In this case, SCP-22-1 will typically struggle and twitch on the table until expiration occurs. Should an instance of SCP-22-1 expire whilst remaining on the table slides back into the drawer, which then shuts. Reports indicate that the scent of burnt tissues is evident immediately following such an event. The energy source that sustains instances of SCP-22-1 is currently unknown. Instances do not breathe, eat, or sleep, and their bodies produce no heat. Analysis of 22-1 following expiration has discovered no abnormal organs or chemicals present and appear to be fully human cadavers. Instances also possess physical strength that exceeds that of normal humans. Though direct testing has been problematic, researchers estimate that strength increases by approximately 500 newtons or 112 pounds of lifting force, greater than what one would expect of a human body sharing a similar condition. Analysis is underway to determine if this effect is connected to the unknown power source or if it is an entirely separate phenomenon. When the body parts are severed from 22-1, the portion with the greatest mass retains its effects. All other pieces become inert. Destruction of the head or brain does not neutralize 22-1. Instead, the lower torso and limbs remain animate. Complete tissue destruction appears to be the only method of successfully terminating instances of 22-1. Left alone, instances of 22-1 will simply expire. All motion ceases and they appear to become normal cadavers again. The amount of time it takes depends on how damaged the body is and the rate of decomposition, and can take anywhere between 2 days and 3 weeks. Investigation has revealed that the bodies acting as 22-1 match the description of cadavers reported to have been stolen from morgues across the country. The mechanism for this transfer is currently being researched. Adding any matter Adding any new matter to SCP-22 has thus far proved impossible. Any object that enters SCP-22 disappears shortly after passing through the door, leaving no trace. This includes inanimate objects and biological specimens. See Addendum 22-1 and 22-2. So long as an instance of 22-1 possesses a functioning mouth, tongue, and trachea, it is able to completely communicate fully with researchers. See interview log 22-751 for details. Interview log 22-751. Each of the following interviews began much of the same way. The incidents of SCP-22-1 will typically be hysterical until Foundation personnel are able to calm/restrain them. These portions have been omitted. Date: March blank, 1980 blank. Interviewee: SCP-22-1-2. Interviewer: Dr. Blank. Notes: 22-1-2 was the second instance of 22-1 that the Foundation discovered, the first having been destroyed on site by Foundation agents. SCP-22-1-2 had the body of an Asian male, approximately 54 years old. Its chest had been stitched up, evidence of an autopsy. Begin log. Please identify yourself. My name is John Blank. What the hell's going on? That's what we're trying to figure out, John. How did you get to this state? I don't know. I was driving my car, coming home from... Never mind. I was driving and I crashed. Then what happened? Nothing. I woke up here. Please, this has to be unintelligible. So you remember being in a car accident, then woke up here in the morgue. Do you have any idea how you got here? I didn't get here. Don't you get it? This isn't me. I'm not me. What do you mean, you aren't you? At this point, SCP-22-1-2 became severely agitated and had to be physically restrained. This required 6 agents due to the strength increase associated with instances of SCP-22-1. Apparently, eventually, 22-1-2 was calmed down and the interview proceeded. Now, would you like to explain what you meant? This is not me. I saw my reflection in the steel. I'm not some old Asian fuck. This isn't me. End log. Following the last statement, SCP-22-1-2 began to mash its head against the wall. Once further restrained, it began to scream unintelligibly for several hours before falling silent. It continued to struggle, although apparently unable to speak, for an additional 6 days until it finally ceased motion. During this time, it continued decomposing at a natural rate. An examination of the body following the interview was unable to determine a cause of death, as many of the internal organs had been removed. The only injury that did not appear to be the result of a previous surgery/autopsy was a damaged trachea. Date: March blank, 1980 blank. Interviewee: SCP-22-1-5. Interviewer, Dr. Blank. Notes. SCP-22-1-5 animated shortly after D5619 was sent into SCP-22 and subsequently disappeared. SCP-22-1-5 has the body of an approximately 12-year-old female, missing its right arm and a large portion of its torso. Following the incident with 22-1-3, all instances of 22-1 are physically restrained before being introduced to valuable personnel, with 22-1-5 being no exception. Dr. Blank, please state your name. SCP-22-1-5. What did you bastards do to me? Please state your name. The fuck did you do to me? We have done nothing to you. Now please state your name. You know who I fucking am? Refresh my memory then, please. I'm the guinea pig you just fucked up. Don't tell me you forgot. Don't tell me you forgot me, Dr. Asshole. Are you D5619? In the flesh. And for your information, jackass, my name is redacted. Now change me back, you son of a bitch. Change me fucking back. End log. At this point, Dr. Blank asked 22-1-5 several questions to verify its identity. Although its identity was confirmed to be that of D5619, no further useful information was gained from 22-1-5. It was kept in a holding cell until expiring 2 days later. After 3 weeks, the body of D5619 animated as 22-1-7. In a brief interview with 22-1-7, it claimed to be an 89-year-old female. So that was the interview log. So now we're going on to the addendums. Addendum 22-1. A request has been submitted to create a new entrance to SCP-22 by removing a portion of the south wall. Request pending approval. Addendum 2. A pile of matter was discovered on the floor of the room directly above SCP-22. It appeared to contain all matter that had been sent into SCP-22 with the exception of humans. All materials appear broken and worn down. Metallic components are covered in large amounts of rust, with all biological parts being in various stages of decomposition. Testing revealed that the time being inserted between inserting an object into SCP-22 and it reappearing above to be precisely 183 seconds. Humans who enter, however, do not appear in said pile. Instead, humans appear to become integrated into the morgue and may later animate as instances of 22-1. So that was the morgue. A weird morgue that does weird crap with bodies and well, in my mind it sort of takes two different parts and mashes them together. It takes the body and maybe the soul or the consciousness of a person, and it just sort of swaps them about, and then through anomalous means it animates the body and just sends it on its way until the body decomposes naturally, which I think is quite a unique take on the zombie thing. It's just hey, I'm not crazy, I'm not gonna eat you, I'm just not this person, as we saw with D5619. Hey, so now we are on to SCP-23, Black Shuck. SCP-23, Object Class, Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-23 is to be contained in a walled-off intersection of 2 corridors at site blank, with at least 3 meters of space in each direction, and false doors at 3 of the 4 ends. In addition to the real door, security cameras will be placed and maintained above all 4 doors. At all times, SCP-23's eye sockets are to be filled with spherical inserts made of hard rubber. Eye inserts must be replaced as they degrade. Degradation can be monitored by measuring the brightness of the burning effect as observed by security footage. Brightness greater than 12 candela requires that the inserts be replaced within 12 hours. Eye inserts are only to be replaced individually and only after the sun has completely set. Personnel are not to look directly into the eye sockets of SCP-23 at any time. Following Incident 2327, all reflective surfaces, including displays, monitors, and eyewear of any sort, are not to be permitted within 30 meters of SCP-23's cell. This includes monitors linked to security cameras within its enclosure. Security personnel posted at checkpoints outside both corridors will enforce and adhere to this measure. Now let's go into Incident. Now let's have a look at Incident 2327. SCP involved, SCP-23. Personnel involved, Dr. Blank. Data expunged. Date, blank. Location, site blank. Description, timeline of events. 10 seconds. A pair of glass eyeballs are inserted into the eye sockets of SCP-23 by 2 D-Class personnel. 15 seconds. Glass eyes take on an orange glow, similar to what SCP-23's real eyes looked like before removal. 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Molten glass begins to run out of SCP-23's eye sockets. 5 minutes 54 seconds. Data expunged. Appear on all lenses, mirrors, windows, monitors, and glass surfaces at site blank. 6 minutes 12 seconds. Evacuation of site blank ordered. 6 hours, 54 minutes, and 7 seconds. Sun visible over horizon. D-Class personnel sent in to check area around SCP-23's enclosure. Data expunged, gone. Only trace of SCP-23 is a burnt section of floor around a puddle of colored glass. Personal log of Dr. Blank. Date, blank. It's my fault. I have doomed my research team, and possibly the rest of the facility. All that's left is to keep trying. We must contain SCP-23. Note. On blank, 1 year after Incident 2327, blank personnel were interred in an unmarked mass grave outside site blank. That happened. Description. SCP-23 is a large, sexless, shaggy canine, 1.5 meters at the shoulder, with black fur. It has bright orange-red eyes and prominent teeth, which has been scribbled out. See Incident Report 2326. So let's have a look at that. SCP involved, 23. Personnel involved, Dr. Blank and 5 D-Class personnel. Date, blank to blank. Location, site blank. Description. In an attempt to curtail the danger posed by SCP-23, Dr. Blank has approved the removal of both SCP-23's eyes and teeth. Immediately after both of its eyes were removed, 23 breached security by vanishing completely. 23 was reobtained in a stretch of interstate blank at 4:37 p.m. and brought back to containment, where D-Class personnel finished pulling out its teeth, whilst the total number of civilians exposed to 23 during this period is unknown. Death record monitoring has tied 9 civilians to deaths of this incident. Timestamps confirmed over the course of the next 48 hours that SCP vanished only while the sun was visible in the sky from outside site blank. Addendum 2326-1. As of blank, Dr. Blank has been suspended pending disciplinary review for contributing to, if not being directly responsible for, Incident 2326. Dr. Blank is now in charge of SCP-23. The increased difficulties in containment have been incurred as a result of Dr. Blank should serve to remind all personnel of the Foundation's purpose: secure, contain, and protect. Research, experimentation, convenience, and even the safety of the Foundation personnel are secondary concerns. We are not working to protect ourselves. 05-blank. Addendum 2326-2. A total of blank bodies for the time of death exactly 1 year after the incident 2326 has been identified as consistent with SCP-23 exposure. So that is why they took out its teeth. Yeah. So, it's a dog that's 1.5 meters tall, and it has black fur and now has no eyes. Any time an individual makes eye contact with SCP-23, either that person or a member of their immediate family will die exactly 1 year after eye contact is broken. Research into the methods of selection is incomplete due to a moratorium on experiments. But the available data suggests that having a larger immediate family lessens the chance of the individual making eye contact themselves dying, and neither a pattern nor a preference in victim type has been found. This may indicate that 23's victim is designated entirely at random, but is unknown whether this selection occurs at the beginning or the end of the 1 year time period. Attempts to terminate an individual who has made eye contact with 23 and their entire immediate family before the 1 year time period has ended, data expunged. So they might have done it, they might not. Eh? Autopsies of individuals killed by 23's effect show that whilst outwardly appearing unharmed, their remains have been filled in with highly compacted ash, including but not limited to all organ systems and the circulatory system. Muscle tissues, bone, and brain tissue universally show signs of exposure to temperatures above blank degrees centigrade. If not contained in a setting that at least superficially resembles a crossroads, 23 will phase through walls until it gets to the nearest suitable location, incinerating all materials it passes through. 23 was first brought to Foundation's attention when it attacked a church in blank, whilst it was in session killing blank civilians directly and redacted as a result of eye contact. Following retrieval of SCP-23, Class B amnestics were being administered to all witnesses and surviving victims. The incident was covered up as a case of arson. Addendum 1. SCP-23 broke containment on blank by phasing through its celled wall. Incident 23-1. 23 was later discovered at an intersection of 2 corridors elsewhere on Site Blank. Agent Blank noticed SCP-23's similarity to a redacted. Special containment procedures for SCP-23 updated. Assistant Researcher Blank issued a reprimand for negligence. Addendum 2. SCP-23 has been responsible for the deaths of blank personnel and blank civilians since it was first brought into containment on the 12th of... the 12th of October, blank 94. Might be 19 or 18, to be honest. Maybe even 17. Addendum 3. Request for reclassification for Keta pending. Addendum 4. Due to both anomalies focusing focusing on specific geographic spaces, their destructive capabilities, and canine appearances. It is possible that SCP-1111-1 may be a variant of the same phenomenon observed in SCP-23 or vice versa. Investigation into the origin of both anomalies is ongoing. Due to the inability to capture SCP-1111-1 for study, investigation are currently focused on SCP-23. That was SCP-22 and SCP-23. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you liked it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because it really does help. And I will see you guys in the next episode. But until then, bye.